Oh, I was trying to load the game. Shit ain't working now. I'm about to get sued.
Maybe not. What's good, y'all? This is Kenneth Berry here. Touchdowns and tangents.
Someone is feeling themselves over here jumping in the intro, but all right.
I had to play it. I've literally just been listening to Bay Area playlists for like the past week, and I'm pretty fucking hyped.
Wait. Man.
I always do, but Mac Dre especially this week for some reason.
Yeah, you know what it is, though. Touchdowns and Tangents, your Thursday night spot for NFL news headlines. We provide topical takes and tangents and context for the culture.
And, you know, the brilliance of this show. Wow, I don't even think I just said realness. Whatever. What's brilliant about this show is that it's really real and honest, and we actually cover things that, well, mainstream media just won't cover or doesn't. And from a perspective that's real and directly from the people and to people.
I thought about it this way, man. We're pretty much like a life, culture, and experience podcast in the context of football, of sports, specifically football. That's pretty much the easiest way to describe this podcast / broadcast on the Good News radio station, FPC Radio, and X Squad affiliates and xsquadradio.com. Shout out to the replay affiliates. Shout out to all the podcast platforms and distributors out there.
And shout out to all the people who listen to us and low-key subtext us.
When we're not on the air.
When we're not on the air.
Yeah,
like,
man.
You guys going live yet? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, man. Why don't y'all come and be our interns?
Yeah, you know. Or better yet, since this is episode 99, man, episode 100 is next week. Bro.
Episode Alden Smith. Episode Warren Sapp.
Episode Tyreek Hill speed rating. Episode all the Oakland Raiders players who ran like sub 4.3s that Al Davis drafted.
Oh, okay. I see you. I see what you're doing there.
Shout out to Phil Buchanan. I don't know why he didn't work out. He flamed out.
You didn't know why he didn't work out? Because he couldn't tackle? You didn't think that was going to be a problem?
He was great at punt returning. Decent cover guy.
Are you describing Phil Buchanan or...
And he played for Miami. Like, he should have worked.
Van Dyke.
DeMarcus Van Dyke couldn't cover. Everyone knew he couldn't cover coming out of college. He came out a year early.
He was just too small.
He's fast.
He was too small.
No, he was tall enough, but
he was just too small.
Couldn't cover.
He was too small.
He couldn't cover.
He was too small.
He was small. He was big enough to play in the slot, but he couldn't cover anybody.
He was too small too, though. Mostly.
Yeah, but anyway, let's talk about the Armageddon that is all these trades that happened this week, man.
Yeah. So, which one are we gonna start off with? Are we gonna start off with the one that's closest to home?
No, we're gonna go out abroad. And then we're going to work our way. We're going to find our way back home.
So, the New York Giants traded Damian Snacks Harrison and Eli Apple in the same week. Snacks was a free agent signing, 2 years ago? Eli Apple was a first-round pick, 3 years ago?
Nah, it was 2 years for Eli Apple, if I'm not mistaken. I think 3 for Harrison because he was an all-pro nose tackle for them. He became an all-pro for the Giants. He was good. I forget what other team he played for.
He played for the Jets.
But he was great for the Jets, and then essentially, like, Pro Football Focus named him the #1 run-stopping D-tackle for, 2 years, I think. And then he got to the Giants and then blew up. Eli Apple.
He had a good rookie season and fell off ever since.
He just fell off a cliff. Like, the issues that his
And they had the off-field
They had stories about his mom. And he's keeping gold diggers away. His mom kind of became a story. He might just be one of those well-off kids that just isn't really tough enough when you actually separate him from everybody else. But then you have other people saying he's a dog, he's a great player. Has all the measurables, has every possible skill set you would want, and then got traded to the Saints for a 4th-round pick. Now, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed in the Saints because I think they should have just went all in for Patrick Peterson.
Honestly,
we'll talk
man,
about that later.
I agree with that. Honestly, I don't know why Eli Apple was the first corner to move. Maybe because he was the cheapest. I don't know.
Both their corners are just not. It's not working. They're trying to move Janoris too. So it's like, but he was the biggest malcontent, I think, because him and Landon Collins had beef, and I guess it was just probably. I think James Belcher is their D coordinator.
But what, they traded him for a 4th-round pick?
Yeah.
So you went from having a 1st-round pick, a dude who had an interception and forced fumble his rookie year. He looked promising to last year only playing in 11 games, having beef with team leaders.
They're all-pro safety.
Looking like he can't cover.
Who's going to get paid pretty soon, by the way.
He might just need to move to safety, to be honest.
No, he's not a safety.
He got the size.
He's a corner. The Saints do a really good job of rehabilitating cornerbacks.
They really do.
Patrick Robinson was their 1st-round pick out of Florida State.
Yeah.
Left somewhere else, became good. Eagles, comes back, and now he seems pretty decent. Crowley was whatever. They had Devin Breaux for a while, but once he fractured his leg, he was never the same. But they had Marshawn Lattimore on one side.
What about that corner they took out of Clemson that never did anything, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
We don't know his name. Even I don't know his name.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
I don't think they took a corner out of Clemson. I know Minnesota took a corner out of Clemson.
Nah.
Cordell Tankersley, and Tankersley had no picks in college.
Yeah.
And a 4.47 out of Clemson, went to the Minnesota Vikings.
I thought he went to the Saints.
No, he went to the Vikings. And also the corner out of Michigan State who ran a 4.31, Trey Waynes. He's playing a little bit better for them, but Mike Hughes tore his ACL last week. So he's done for the season. And then Terrence Newman at the beginning of the year retired and became a DB coach for them. So that's Minnesota's, their secondary's going through stuff. But
I think you need to boost your levels, man, or something, because
I don't
sounding a little.
It's weird. I sound low. I don't know why, but how about, is that better?
No, but on the
we'll
whole,
never know.
No, I'm too high now, I think.
Wow, that is terrible on your part. But yeah, man.
No, but I mean, like, I'm too, like, my levels are too high. Relax.
Oh, I thought you meant like you're too high. I was like, wait, whoa.
Anyways, I think the biggest thing with Eli Apple, and you touched on it before, was
I didn't think that was Eli that was going to get traded. Let's keep it a buck.
Okay, you're just quoting the meme, but besides that,
it was funny.
Besides that, like I was saying, Eli Apple, I feel like, number one, you gave up. You pretty much traded a 1st-round pick for a 4th-round pick, only in his 3rd season. But the thing you were saying about some people say he's a dog, some people say he's not. Isn't that just kind of like the modern day of the NFL now? I feel like in that 53-man locker room, you can find someone to tell you one thing, and somebody else will find someone to tell them something different. I feel like that's just kind of like the era that we live in with social media and the blogosphere and everything that is the machine of NFL media.
NFL PR?
Including us.
I mean, I kind of totally spaced out for the first part of your question. But the gist of it, I think, is when it comes down to...
How do we know what to believe? That's pretty much what I'm saying.
Well, we don't really know. The only thing we know what to believe is what we see on the field and honestly how players react. Because, okay, in this case...
Because honestly,
go
NFL players they're
starting to get tired.
Not even that. They're just like they're starting to complain too much about each other, like too openly in the media. Like,
no, I mean the NBA
keep that stuff inside.
No, NBA does it.
Keep
baseball
that stuff
does it
inside, man.
Are you talking about the culture, that old school locker room culture that doesn't really exist anymore?
Exactly, but
that's a generational thing, though.
And besides all that, if you are gonna call out teammates, and now I'm kind of already moving ahead, but if you're gonna call out teammates, at least put your name to it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be an anonymous source if you're calling out one of your teammates.
But also, it depends.
Otherwise, what's the point? Then you're just starting the machine.
It depends on when you're being anonymous. Because, like, let's say an anonymous Patriots player comes out
And it's like, yeah, they're ducking injuries. Yeah, okay. Then that's something you would be anonymous about.
Ducking injuries and Tom Brady's on steroids. You're like, whoa.
Yeah. That's different.
That would be some wild shit.
That's different than like
a former Patriots player saying, Teddy Bruschi was a snitch.
That's different than someone being like, hey, I think Brady's soft. Like, bro, if you think Brady's soft, then why don't you tell him, number one? Number two, if you're going to tell the media, then why don't you put your name onto it if you feel that strongly about it?
But I think the ones who do, like a guy like
Jalen, you're just stirring shit up.
Look at Jalen Ramsey. He's the perfect test case. He's always put his name on stuff, and they're like, oh, why don't you say anything now? Because maybe I don't always want to say something. But when I say something, y'all get all hyped, and you have like 30,000 stories and articles, and I'm pretty much giving y'all work by talking. But, you know, like Blake Bortles came out and said he accepts the fact.
I mean, that's Richard Sherman. He just got a contract for San Francisco off of that. So
that's a different scenario.
Yeah, Marshawn.
Jalen Ramsey, let's be honest.
You can make a living off being the quote guy in the NFL. Just ask John Gruden, who got $100 million.
Let's ask Rodney Harrison.
But Rodney Harrison's not a coach.
But no, actually, Jason Garrett is that quote guy because he is honestly the most
Jerry Jones too.
Yeah, but Jerry Jones is like he's all up in the
that
video.
Asshole source you want.
He's all up in the videos, dancing in all the videos. So yeah, don't go to the Dallas Cowboys if you actually if you like Death Row Records. But anyway.
On that same note, man. So the Dallas Cowboys, they traded for Amari Cooper. That was a big story of the week. If you're on my Twitter, you saw me go off on it. You probably know how I feel already.
Totally
at Pete Certified, you know what it is. You can at me if you have a problem with it. But KB, what was your whole take on the? Okay, let's back up. Where were you? Where were you when you first heard like serious rumors that Amari Cooper was being traded, and then also, where were you when you saw that it was officially like done?
I didn't hear shit until like the day was practically over because I was at work.
So then, what did you think?
I was like, wait, what the fuck? I saw the group chat blow up, and I saw you were depressed, and a bunch of other people were depressed. I'm like, oh, so I guess we're gonna have to put some people on suicide watch now. The whole Raiders fan base, because I thought it was like speculation. I'm like, oh, they're working to trade Amari Cooper to the Cowboys, but like compensation hadn't been worked out. So I was like, all right, well, it ain't really official then. And then I see it like, oh shit, they really traded him for a first-round pick. The Raiders have 3 first-round picks. They traded to the Cowboys. That's like the perfect pick. What if the Raiders signed Des Bryant as like just to really shit on the fan base? And I was like, oh wow.
You went to a dark wormhole there.
I went to a very dark wormhole, and I have a theory about this whole Raiders organization that involves Star Wars. Shout out to the homie Mancini. I will touch on that in a bit. But I look at the Giants and the Raiders, and with the Giants, they literally have all-pro skill players, all-pro talent. They just need better pieces on like the D-line, a corner. You know, corners they can develop, whatever. You can find that in the draft. But they need like 3 new offensive linemen if we're keeping it a buck.
Who?
The Giants. Like, Soldier needs to play better. They need a center and a right guard and a right tackle. They have a running back. They have receivers. They have a tight end. Like, Eli needs to really get his shit together, but they can find a quarterback next year. But when you look at the Giants, like, they're more in the direction. They're in the NFC East. They can still compete at a high level through their dysfunction. The Raiders can't compete through a high level, and they can't compete through dysfunction. And they're proving that they can't compete through dysfunction. And the fact that you get rid of Mack, then you get rid of Cooper, and then you hear all the stuff about Derek Carr soft, and that shit was stupid. I never believed it. First off, the man played with a partially torn back muscle or partially broken back.
Yeah,
he played with a bunch of heinous ass injuries. His finger got destroyed. Like, come on, toughness isn't an issue, but progressions are. It comes in waves. But when you look at Derek Carr, he has an image, and like I said, remember when I was like, I don't know if they want to market Derek Carr to Vegas. I don't know how it's gonna work. Sin City, he's like a super
low key. Vegas is hella conservative though.
No, but not conservative.
Outside of like the strip,
yeah.
Vegas is conservative as hell. Like it's
but
pretty
not
conservative.
like Derek
It's pretty
Carr
red.
conservative. Not like he gives off a John Cena X type vibe. You know what I mean?
No.
Like clean cut.